On Season 7, Episode 4 of 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, Kimberly Menzies milkshaked Usman Umar. That is, she splattered him with his own milkshake and stormed off. Kimberly felt blindsided when Usman and his friend described a plural marriage very differently than he had in the past. She resolved to leave. As for Usman, she welcomed him to find 5,000 wives, if that's really what he wants. Instead, it's about Usman's plans for a second wife, which is not a settled matter. Usman's friend, Kabru, spoke about the situation with his wives. His wives lived together with him in his home. They only lived separately before he had this house. That is very different from Kimberly's desires. She doesn't even want to meet wife number 2. Kimberly also had the impression from Usman that she would get the love. That wife number 2 would just be for having kids. In contrast, she heard that the husband should never show special treatment or preference, even if he has one. Kimberly does not want to be equals with this other, hypothetical woman. Usman began to tease Kimberly, suggesting that he should have even more wives to have more kids. She found this to be unfunny, to say the least. Kimberly's replies ruffled Usman's feathers. He claims to expect submission from women, not be told to FK off. Finally, Kimberly had listened to enough. Click on the bell icon to stay up to date on my new videos. She stood up, ready to storm away. Kimberly being Kimberly, she also swatted at Usman's milkshake, dumping the contents all over him. Usman now had a sticky mess to clean up. He admitted to his friend that she has done this before, in Zanzibar. Meanwhile, Kimberly herself was in a state of heartbreak and shock. Kimberly was not amused by Usman's taunt that he might need 4 wives, total, with 3 giving him a combined 9 children. She already felt like she was bending over backwards by tentatively agreeing to a second wife. Having to meet her, and the idea of her getting just as much love, was too much for her. And not what Usman had described in the past. Usman clearly felt embarrassed. His main focus seemed to be how Kimberly's behavior made him look. Awkwardly, they had to ride back to the hotel together. In the hotel room, the dispute continued. Kimberly expressed that she was tired of Usman interrupting her. He disagreed. Yes, he interrupted her, but he feels that this is simply what she says when she feels flustered. And when she doesn't like what he's saying. With that in mind, Kimberly and Usman both decided that perhaps it's better we just call it off. She resolved to buy a plane ticket home. Yes, even if she had to borrow the money. I think I'm just gonna try to go home, Kimberly announced. I'm going to look for a plane ticket, she shared. I'll borrow the money from somebody. To Usman, Kimberly then added, you go look for 5,000 wives.